Hello and welcome to part 2 of the FC Isle of Man Playing Away special. It's not long now until we all fly or boat it over to Douglas. I'm sure some of you are probably swimming. But yeah, let us know in the comments. Are you coming on the boat? Are you coming on the plane? Are you there for 2 days? Are you there for 1 day? Are you going in the quids in to watch Dusty Plankton on Friday night? The guest for this part is Mike Holt. He is a media team member at FC Isle of Man, podcast host, and he knows all there is to know about the club, what they're doing fan engagement wise, how they're growing their following, and what he's going to tell us what we can expect when we go to the bowl this Saturday. Next Saturday, even, depending on when I put this out. Welcome to Playing Away. Can you introduce yourself and tell us about your role at FC Isle of Man and how you became involved?
So I'm part of what is a really small group of our media team, and there's four of us in total. Myself, Callum Staley, who's our head of media, Sophie, and we've got Darren, who goes to uni in Liverpool, so he can cover the away games, which is really useful. So there's only a small group of us, which is obviously for a voluntary role within our football club. Is There's a lot of delegated tasks to do, and especially Sophie and Callum in particular, what they do. I think you might have seen some of like what we do on social media in terms of YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, the ticket code, the website. Like for where we are in the league and for the division that we're in, I think personally, I might be biased. It's high end, like it's very very good stuff, and yeah, I think it's really good. How I've been sort of involved in the football club since like pretty much since the get go, since obviously COVID hampered us having our first season. But ever since then, I've been like involved. How I got involved, so I set up my own personal podcast, which came up was sort of birthed out of lockdown, and from that, Steve Burns got in touch with me. He was one of the sort of founders of the football club alongside Paul Jones. He got in touch with me and get involved in the media and just sort of spiraled ever since then. And it's sort of gone since then. And I've loved doing it. It's good because you're sort of giving back to your community and your people.
Definitely, definitely. It's a feeling of pride when you're delivering the information that people need to go to the games and that they might have. That's why this started, was in lockdown, because you could only offer 100 tickets to get into a ground and people couldn't get into the ground, so it was a way of engaging our fans with other clubs. It's very similar. I mean, when you mention some of the things that you're working with, it's like speaking to our media team with Ticket Co. It's very similar. And yeah, FC Isle of Man's output has always been very high caliber, so it's good to see, especially with such a small team as well, which is really good.
Yeah, yeah.
So, new question. Thrown this one in the mix this week. I've got a couple of new ones.
Yeah.
Personally, what is the best thing for you about FC Isle of Man?
Oh, that's a great question. That is a really good question. Do you know what I love, and we've probably seen it a little bit more in the last few weeks. Ironically, the engagement between the players and our fans and our community. Like, we did an interview, funnily enough, post match of our manager after a recent game, and I said to him, it never fails to amaze me when you go down to the grounds and you see that connection between the players and fans, and all the kids waiting for their autographs at the end of the game, and they just want pictures, and they idolize these lads over here. And when they grow up, they'll realize that they're just, lads that have office jobs like we do and stuff. But full credit to the players. Like they are superb. They are absolutely fantastic with the kids, and I suppose that's part of what I absolutely love. Like, you see how much the kids love it, and it's obviously different in the Isle, man, because we're not in England and you can't go into like a proper football ground, and the kids don't get that experience, but they really get that here. And there's in times where money's tight, and parents can't necessarily take the kids off the Isle of Man and take them to a Liverpool and Everton and Man United, whoever it may be. They have the FC Isle of Man here, and obviously it's not on the same scale, but they love it. It's everything for them, and Like I say, the players are fantastic with them. They really are. They're role models, and full credit to them. And I'd say that's my favorite bit. I love that. I love seeing, I've got kids myself, and when I eventually bring them down, to the games and stuff, I'm sure they'll be exactly the same. And I love that sense of community. That's what the club's all about. I'd say that's the number one thing I love about the football club. Yeah,
No, they're very much the interaction between the players and the kids within our games. Gig Lane. I mean, even though there's a bit of a contentious point at the minute with some of the issues that have been going on at the ground, but they will go away and they will work themselves out, and it's a learning curve for everybody.
yeah,
But seeing the kids before the games excited to see somebody that's been sat in an office all day to sign the program, or someone who's just come off a building site all day, and to them they're not that, they are this star footballer. It's fantastic. It really is good to see, and especially, I mean, we're proud of it because we're surrounded by United, City, Rochdale, Oldham, Bolton. Dirty words on this show. But to see kids come in and being able to engage with the players, and it brings them back,
yeah.
And that actually leads me well into the next question, which you probably partially answered already. But fan support's vital for any football club. But how does FC Isle of Man engage with its fans and the wider community to help build that stronger fan base? Are there any innovative approaches or initiatives the club's undertaken to enhance that fan experience during match days and maybe beyond on social media and things like that?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like, obviously, I can answer from the media point of view, and I think we do so much in terms of trying to keep a connection between, the playing element of the football club to the fans. Like, we try to do our best. And like I say, it's a very small team, so we do our best. I think as a football club in its infancy, we're always learning, and I think we the more things you try, the more things you learn. And I think it's no secret we at the start of FCR man and that big promotion run that we had, we were getting massive numbers into the bowl. We were getting huge numbers, and those numbers have died off, and they have. And sort of, I think people within the club have sort of tried to put the finger on why that might be, and they've tried to work little initiatives to find out why that might be. And ever since then, I think the football club and everyone within it have tried their best to sort of add a connection with the fans. We offer things like membership and things like that. We tried to put like certain nights on. There was a race night the other night. There's a crafts night coming up soon, and things like that. We try and keep that sense of community. We have like a footy camps as well for the juniors. So when it's summer holidays, half terms, there's a connection between the kids of the islands, getting their training off people that are FCR man coaches, and seeing that pathway that they can one day play for the football club. And so there's that. But like I say, there's things that we can always learn. There's things we can always do better. Obviously, we don't sell alcohol on the ground at the moment. I think that's something that's going to be trialed very soon. And there's all these little things that we're sort of, just baby steps, and we'll get there. And at the moment, we are getting there. Financially, there's obviously only certain things we can do as a football club. Obviously, it costs a lot of money for us to travel away and also to bring football clubs to the Isle of Man. So there's a big cost element to everything we do. But I'm sure we'll get there in time. We've got the right people at the football club. There's some fantastic people. Like I say, there's volunteers, and you wouldn't even think they were volunteers the way they go about their business. And we will get there as a football club in terms of bringing that whole football club feel together.
Yeah, I mean, when I came to the bowl last season, it ran like clockwork. It was a great day out. It was. Surreal day out, but really good day out. Even though we didn't win, it was sort of like we'd won at the end of the game. I don't know if you stuck about for a bit after and saw that chaos that happened, but no, it is a really friendly, welcoming place to go as well.
I think just on that as well, like you just saying about your fans coming over, like full credit to your fans. I'm sure they'll be listening. They're amazing. Like I personally think they're the best fans that come in terms of like getting behind the team and everything that your football club's been through and your fans sticking there together and like it was really heartwarming to see in a time where you look at Premier League football now and the distance between fans and players and it's really like I think it's really like heartwarming to see football clubs like that.
No, it was an amazing moment, and um, we some. I will say that we've probably lost a little bit of that this season, just with the us moving back to Gig Lane being in its infancy and teething problems around having an all-seater stadium, and it's not quite the non-league experience, but the club and the board are always looking at ways that we can do that, and it's just a slow process. And sometimes, you, you, you'll know your fans probably aren't as demanding as ours, but they want things now and they want answers now, and those things take time and they've got to develop and they've got to go through the right channels, and you can't just do it now. And we're working towards being that, everybody together, all, but it's just going to be a slow process. But no, that they're an amazing bunch though, they really are, even though they do absolutely pelt me online. But yeah, I'll move on. Let's talk about some football. How's it been this season?
For the football club on the pitch, I think it's been up and down, very much up and down. Very recently, it's been up. We haven't lost in our last four games. Three of them have been wins. You know what? It's really tough because obviously the group that we have here, but obviously people don't know they're all Isle of Man based people that are resident here in the Isle of Man. So we are very much bringing players in a local base, and you can bring players into the squad, and they're not they're coming from the Manx League straight into this league, and the levels are massive, and so it's demanding
Yeah,
for the players. But I think you've seen a lot of players this season, young players coming through, and they're fantastic. Like they're really nice lads. They've got great understanding of the game. They've got great potential, and it's just about playing consistency, week in, week out. And it's been tough for them because I think for the players and for the manager, I think it's probably been tough for them because they come out in post-match interviews saying, we were there in the game. It's just small margins. It's just little bit of things just go your way, only losing 1-0 and maybe not getting a penalty here and maybe feeling a bit hard done to here. So they've had some really good games. They've played some fantastic games at home. They've changed formation in certain games. They've tried different things, different players coming through. They've had really tough injuries. They've had players coming back. Um, like I say, because our players, the players are voluntary as well. They have work commitments, family life, and it's been tough for the manager to always pick the same squad every week. That's probably one of the biggest issues that we have, but it's an issue that we're going to have to get used to as a football club because that's always going to be on us,
yeah.
that situation. But I think they've done well. It's a steady season, and as you just saying about your fans being demanding, like I would say our fans are demanding because they know and they can see the talent that's in the squad and on the Isle of Man as well, and they want to get promoted like we all do. Everybody wants to get promoted, but I think this season's been very much a take stock on what we've got. Um, the bleeding young players in, and that's going to help in the future. Um, so it has been an up and down season. Um, I think we will probably finish in that mid-table mark. If we got close to just outside the playoffs, I think that would be a very good season for where we're at. But it's been enjoyable. It's been enjoyable to see a lot of the players progress.
See, looking at the table, 15th, won 13, drawn 4, lost 14. So it's very, team on the ascendancy at the moment, like you said. We're probably not coming over at the right time. But it's going to be a good game of football, I think, and against two good teams, a young, tenacious team, in yourselves, and we're struggling with some injuries at the moment and having to bring new players in, and so I think it will be a really close game. I said to Ian when I spoke to him earlier, I, th- I think we might just nick it, but it'll be close.
Hmm.
Um,
I think
I th-
we've not really seen a team come to us where I think that we can, and this is obviously just my opinion, where I can say that they are head and shoulders above us. Like honestly, and that's why it's been a bit of a it's been tough to get sort of analysed this season so far because you feel a little bit hard done to. If you see a team think, oh, they bad us and fair play, they've absolutely murdered us there. I honestly can't think of a team where they've come to the bowl this season and you've got they played us off the park there. We've always been in games.
yeah,
We've always been competitive.
there's you can't write a team out of this league, no matter whether the bottom, top, mid table. Yeah, you can't write. I mean, Withenshaw lost on Tuesday night to was it Cone? They lost. Didn't expect them to lose. Padiham beat Withenshaw. Withenshaw have been flying 17 games unbeaten, and then pang, Padiham just come out the gates and beat them. You just can't write anyone out. I'd go as far as saying, and I'm not biased in any way, shape, or form. I think watching the football, I'd say our team is probably the strongest footballing side, but it's not just that. You know, that's only one part of it, and I'd back our lads to the hilt, but you can't guarantee that you're going to win every week, and especially when you come into somewhere like Douglas, where you've got to fly out in the morning, check into whatever hotel they're in. The one that we stayed in last time was mental. I had like a king size bed and a reclining sofa in my room and everything, and it was balmy. And but it's the same for your lads when they're having to fly over to Liverpool Airport on a Tuesday night and get on a coach. The great level of that journey. I think it's. But just the determination to be in the league and to do it, it's something else. It really is. I'll move on because I'll talk about the upcoming match day and the match day, what a match day it's going to be. If it's anything like last season, we know it's called the Bowl. So tell us a bit more about the ground. What's the ground like? Because it's not like many others in our league.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'd say is it's obviously like I was saying earlier with the numbers we were getting in the first season when we got promoted were insane. I think it was unrealistic for us to expect those numbers to come again. But we still get fantastic numbers, Dan. We're getting like 700 fans a week, which is just amazing. Like
Yeah,
that's fantastic. The only thing I would say is the nature of the bowl being the circle that it is, the sort of oval shape that is it's kind of scattered. Unless the weather's terrible, then you'd have all people under one roof, which is
yeah,
it's only sectioned off with half a roof. But if it's not, if it's like it's a nice day, you find that a lot of the fans are sort of scattered, so it's quite hard to like make an atmosphere.
yeah,
I'm sure you've been in grounds where it's like if you're scattered around, it's hard to create a full atmosphere unless the ground's full.
yeah,
But it's a fantastic facility. Obviously it's a 3G pitch as well, so it's helpful that players and teams coming over, the game's going to be on. Lots of we've had a few home games recently where the wins just been on another level. But it's a great facility, and like I said earlier, like we've this season seen us start to sell merchandise down there, which is a big bonus. And I know you think at the start of building a football club, these are all the things that you just go bang bang bang. You'd have these things done, wouldn't you? But like you were saying earlier, there's certain things that obstacles in your way that stop you doing these things. Selling alcohol and having an alcohol license down at the bowl, like there's certain things that you have to build up to having that,
yeah,
and like you say, we live in a world now, don't we, where things are so you want it now. It's demanding, and well, our fans have been really good. They've been really patient. They've been so loyal. Every week they're there, rain or shine, in horrendous Ironman weather sometimes, and they're still supporting the lads. Even if they've lost games, they're still clapping them up, and it's amazing. And it's been nice the last couple of games to sort of for the team to win and give back a little bit, or feel like they're giving back a little bit. So Hull's a good facility. I'm sure like some of your fans went down there and experienced it. From what I'm led to believe, the fans will be segregated off again. The Bury fans will be segregated off. Um, there won't be a sort of like mix with the Isle of Man fans, and obviously we don't usually do that for any club coming over here. But given the numbers we're expecting with Bury, that will be something. It's put into place.
They're behind that goal again.
From what I can gather, yeah, I don't see why that would change.
Yeah, they sort of came around the corner a bit and all behind that goal, weren't they? It was sort of,
Yeah, if sort of benefit, I think it sort of benefited your fans to a certain extent because what you sometimes see happen is a lot of our fans they'll go to the other end wherever where obviously we're shooting, and if we change ends at half time, they'll go down the other end of the ball. Obviously, it'll probably feel like with your fans being down there, you can sort of suck the ball in the back of the net for whatever half you're playing, and it was good. I think it was good for your fans because it was safe, from what I can gather, and there was no issues from what I can gather.
yeah.
Fingers crossed, and that happens again.
As long as none of them bring any beach balls,
Uh,
because I want to be able to do highlights this time. And it was a bit difficult last time because it just kept panning to the bloody beach ball. Well, yeah, we won't mention that because they will. Couple of quick questions. Can they have anything? Can they have anything to eat at the ground?
yes, so there is food stalls at the ground as well.
I think it was at Paul
There's a
Park
few.
last time.
There'll be a few outside the ground. There'll be a few inside the ground as well. I can't off the top of my head. I can't remember what they are, but they're like hot dogs.
Okay. Now you've answered this already. They can't have a pint at the ground. Just fair enough. Pinewood is probably the nearest place for a beer before. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah. So the Pinewood's sort of like our fans' local boozer, I suppose. Um, so like the Ravenscroft fan, obviously, I know you've had them on here before. That's sort of where they congregate before the game, and that's been fantastic to see. What the Ravenscroft fan lot are doing. They've really helped the club welcome opposition fans come over, and not only does it help the football club, it helps the Isle of Man. Like, and people come and they go, "Oh, I'd love to come back here." Not even necessarily for the footy, but just because they want to come and visit the Isle of Man. And
First fixture our fans looked for.
yeah, it's nice, isn't it? And of course, everyone wants to be competitive when they game of football and be hostile to a certain extent. That's football, isn't it? You want to create atmosphere, but to see the sort of companionship that people have made in terms of fans, like Skem came over last weekend and some of the kids are swapping scarves of ours, and that's what you want as well, isn't it? That sort of nice, friendly interaction as well.
Definitely. Now I do know, touching on the Pinewood, the Mighty Shakers podcast, the White and Blue Army, which is our fan group, I've arranged to meet up before at an Irish bar down in Douglas. But if you can, lads, stop in the Pinewood on the way as well. Show your support to the Pinewood. And we probably ask that they don't all try and pile in at 5-3. Is that right?
Well, yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Because it's one gate, isn't it? Down at that bottom end, it's just one gate, isn't it?
Well, I know it was last time. I don't want to say for sure because I don't
Yeah.
actually know facts on that. But we will keep. All I will say is keep an eye on our social media and
Yeah.
what our head of media does, Callum Staley, before every game is on the Thursday. He will release sort of upcoming max fixture information, and everything is on there. Like it's insane. Obviously, he puts like the detail he goes into it is insane. To be honest, he gives so much information about what traveling fans can expect. So I'd say just keep an eye on our socials.
We'll make sure we share that. I won't ask you about parking because they probably won't be driving. We've talked about the best place to grab a drink before the game, bite to eat locally. Ravens 12th man covered that and told everyone to go to Fork It, which is a new place in Douglas, apparently. He wasn't on commission, so. We'll get on to a bit more about the game. So, what sort of game are you expecting? Because it was close last time. So Gaz Pete 33rd minute goal separated the two of us last time. So at gig. So what are we expecting this weekend? Well, next weekend.
Like I was saying earlier, I think every game you've sort of been competitive and like I'd say that's the biggest positive alongside bleeding those young players into the squad this week. I think that's been sort of the next positive that we're always involved in the game, especially recently. Um, you'll expect an intense game. We've seen, like I was saying earlier, we've seen different formations played out this season as well. So that'll be a bit of a conundrum for what Barry can expect. We, like I said, we've got the young players in there and their energy. I'd say energy and pressing this season's been really, really telling. I say we've probably pressed this season more than we have in any season under the managers that we've had. Um, I'd say set pieces. We've always looked a threat from set pieces, FC Alman, regardless of vision charge. I
Uh,
think
I was saying to Ian before, you had the lad who scored last year with he came on as a sub with the long hair, bit of a ponytail, I think, who came on and he scored header. I can't remember his name. Youngish, tall, skinny lad, bit of a ponytail.
with Darker,
Yeah,
it might have been Mike Williams, maybe.
came on and scored a header.
But that one thing I would say is we've got some tall lads in the team, and I think that's just common knowledge. We've always had that. So set pieces have always been a threat. I'd say the pressing and energetic side of us will cause anyone a problem. Like we're definitely not a lazy team. I've never seen a lazy performance. Let's say.
Yeah, excellent. Right, I've got a couple of questions. I can see the timer's kicking down to kick us off because I'm on a free version of Zoom. Who's your fan favourite? Who would you say is the one for the Bury fans to watch in the FC Isle of Man colours,
What a player for us
player
is
wise?
one to watch. That's a great question. Oh. I mean, if you're talking exciting players, I think if you're talking exciting players, one of the fan favourites that we have is Charlie Higgins. He's a very young lad. He's a energetic, as in on the pitch and off the pitch, like personality wise.
Is that
Um,
the lad has he just come back from the States scholarship? Was that?
no, he hasn't. But I do know who you're talking about there. But no, so he's sort of been in and out of the team throughout the whole season. If you look at the season as a whole,
Yeah.
but he's been very persistent in the squad recently, and he's just a flair player, skillful. He's got that bit of gnarl about him as well, which I think is needed as a footballer. And then, yeah, like I say, he's a personality on and off the pitch. I think he'll be someone that will cause Barry problems because he'll cause anybody problems because he's this young lad who's just full of confidence and he's brave and he's not scared and players do that, don't they? When
Yeah.
um, obviously Sean Doyle's sort of our target man and our prolific goal scorer. Probably had a bit of a change in role in this season. He's probably been more of a facilitator rather than an out and out goal scorer. He was like getting top goal scorer in the league and I don't remember fun, but he's become more of a facilitator as a team, and that's been an interesting part to see this season. I think he'll be one to watch. And one player that I would say, and he's probably not one to watch per se in this conversation, but one I'd say has been like the most improved, Kyle Watson, who's a young lad who's sort of come in and I'd say under the manager Paul Jones has probably improved more than anyone. Like you can see he very much is um, a player of Jones's style. He's tenacious. He wins the ball back. He's pressing from midfield. For me, he's been our most improved player this season.
Excellent. Now, if there was, I'll ask the question the other way. If there was one Bury player that you hope doesn't make the plane next Saturday to face, who would that be?
It's tough to single them out, isn't it? Because they, they're all of a quality. I think the big man that you've got up front, the number 9. What's his
Well,
name? Is he come
Deck.
since you
Deck.
brought the new manager in?
Deck Daniels.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's come just before Christmas from Earlham, and he's on like 30 odd goals.
So is he a play? He's a player that the new manager that you brought in has brought
Yeah,
in. So I'd seen a little bit about him, and I think he's probably a player that would enjoy playing against FC Isle of Man. I think he'd probably the occasion would probably do it for him, from what I can gather in terms of as a player.
Yeah.
Like I say, we've changed formation a few times, so depending on what formation we play for the Berry game, might might facilitate what he wants in the game. Um, I'd also say it's been impressive. I'd say it's impressive what Berry have done as a squad. I mean, you've obviously changed the manager, and since then, you've obviously gone on this prolific run very recently, and that's been impressive. It's hard to single out one player, and I think you are very much a squad now and a team. It feels like that from what I can see from far away.
No, I'd agree with that. It's um, the working as a unit. It's finally clicked, I think, and it took a while after the gaffer came in because there was a lot of change. But yeah, they give it 6 weeks and they're flying. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a really good game. I think I've done a score prediction with Ian, and I've told him that I think we'll edge it. I said 3-2 to Ian. I think it'll be a case of the experience might just get the better of the youth at the end. Over the 90. But I think it'll be very close. I think it'll be a late winner from Deck. I think as well because he didn't get one last. He didn't get one.
There, haven't I?
He didn't get one. He didn't get one last week, and we've got a couple of games before we come over for him to get his eye back in. So, what do you think? I'd like a confident answer. Come on, tell me you're going to win.
You know what? I'm very much a glass half empty sort of person. This is a difficult question for me. I will back our lads to get a 2-2. And I think we will find a late equaliser in the game, and the pressure you will throw the kitchen sink at it, but we will hold.
Yeah, your keeper's going to have a worldie again, like when we came over last year. It's like a brick wall, that lad.
I think it's going to be a really entertaining game. I think it'll be end to end. I don't think you'll see a 0-0 at half time.
I think the fans will make the game as well.
I
Both sets.
I really hope so. And like I said earlier, like in terms of great atmosphere and to have that sort of proper football atmosphere down there, but to have it in the right manner, yeah.
Got one final question for you, and it's the one I ask everyone. And it's you can only ask it to people in and around non-league. So, what's the one thing you'd say to anyone who hasn't been to support the local non-league side to convince them to just go and give it a go and not watch your Liverpool, or in your case, not get on a ferry to the mainland to go and watch City, United or Everton, to come to the Bowl and watch FC Isle of Man? What are you saying to them?
I say like what I said earlier about obviously the connections that our players have got with the kids and the community and the fans and everything down there. Like that's a really encouraging thing to see in a world where you don't have that in the Premier League, and the accessibility is fantastic in non-league. I think every football club, to be honest, it's affordable. It's like I said about the accessibility and supporting your own, which is very much what FCR Man is, and keeping a strong community feel within not only the football club but with the island is we've seen it, but we need to build that, and it's been a fantastic journey for the football club so far. And like I say, we're in our infancy. We get things wrong. We get things, really, really well, and we're building all the time. But if someone hadn't been down, I was trying to encourage them. I'd say just give it a go, and if it's not for you, it's not for you, and that's fair enough. But you won't know unless you try. And you see the way things go in Premier League football and Championship football with VAR and all, the blue card things just come out today and all this, and you don't have that in non-league, and it's real football, and that's what I would encourage.
Perfect. Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And I'll see you at the Bowl. And that was Mike Holt, media team member for FC Isle of Man. Really, thank you very much for the insight of what we can expect when we travel to the Bowl for this upcoming game against the FC Isle of Man. Let us know in the comments where you're going to be. Are you joining the White and Blue Army and the Mighty Shakers podcast for their party in the Irish bar? Are you going to pop it in the pine wood on the way to the ground. Either way, let us know. Please subscribe. It helps the channel grow. And we will see you at the bowl.